The phone rings, a mother answers. On the other end, her daughter is crying, broken down. "Mum, I messed up." Then a man cuts in, calm and precise. "If you hang up, she dies." He describes things no one should ever say out loud, demands $1 million, says he's already taken her across the border. And the worst part, the voice is perfect. Every sob, every breath is unmistakably hers. But there's one problem. Her daughter was never kidnapped. So who was on the phone? This is the new face of extortion. No masks, no vans, no physical crime scene, just a voice at the right moment. In this video, we're breaking down how scammers can clone your voice in seconds, how they turn it into a fake kidnapping, and why even experts say you can't trust what you hear anymore. We'll follow the real cases, the hidden infrastructure, and the moment investigators realised something had fundamentally changed. Because this isn't just a scam, it's the collapse of one of the oldest human instincts. Trust the voice of someone you love. And by the end, you'll understand why that instinct is now being weaponised. Before AI entered the picture, virtual kidnapping was already terrifying. A phone call, screaming in the background, a demand for money, but it relied on something fragile: uncertainty. Scammers guessed names, scraped social media, and filled in the gaps, and sometimes that was enough. Then came the upgrade. Around 2023, something changed quietly but permanently. Voice cloning tools became cheap, fast, and frighteningly accurate. Within just a few seconds of audio, anyone's voice could be copied. Not impersonated, recreated. And scammers realised something immediately. They didn't need better scripts, they needed better voices. Because if the voice is real, the fear is real. And when fear takes over, logic disappears. What nobody knew yet, though, was how quickly this would scale, or how it would get to people who thought they were untouchable. And remember, this is just the setup, because in a moment, we're going to walk through exactly how a scammer can take your voice, turn it into a kidnapping, and convince your family you're about to die. Step 1 is find the voice. You've already uploaded it on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube, or even voicemails. But all it takes is a few seconds. Step 2 is to clone it. Modern AI models don't need hours of data anymore. 3 seconds can be enough to capture tone, pitch, and rhythm. Think of it like building a digital mask, but for sound. Step 3 is to set the stage. The scammer calls when you're vulnerable. Your child is at school, on a trip, or out of reach. They spoof the number so it looks like it's really them. Then comes the performance. It always starts the same way, a voice you trust in the stress. And then everything escalates fast. Threats, violence, and deadlines. They don't give you time to think, they keep you on the phone, because the longer you stay, the less likely you are to verify if it's them. Here's the trick most people miss. If they control your attention, they can control your decisions. And just when you think it can't get worse, some scammers are adding something new. Images and videos of fake proof of life. At that point, even skeptics break, because now it's not just a voice, it's evidence. And that's where everything starts to collapse. The first clue something was wrong was how often the victims turned out to be safe. In case after case, the kidnapped person was at school, at practice, or at home, completely unaware of what has just happened. Investigators started connecting the dots. In different cities, the same script, the same structure, and one new ingredient: cloned voices. But here's the problem. The calls often came from overseas, routed through layers of spoofing and disposable numbers, meaning even when you know it's fake, finding out who did it was another story entirely. And while law enforcement can dismantle call centres, the technology itself is everywhere. It's cheap, accessible, and anonymous, which leads to a disturbing question. If anyone can clone a voice, how do you prove what's real anymore? In most cases, the ending is the same. There's no kidnapping, there's no victim, just a phone call and the aftermath. Sometimes the money is gone, and sometimes it isn't, but the psychological damage lingers, because victims all say the exact same thing at the end. I knew that voice. And that's the real shift. For decades, a voice was proof of identity. Now, it's just a file that can be copied, edited, and weaponized. So the question isn't how this scam works, it's what replaces trust when hearing is no longer believing. And this is only the beginning, because the next evolution isn't just voices. So what happens when you can see and hear someone who isn't there at all?